What's up, guys? This is Kaplan, America. We're in front of the New England Motorcycle Museum. Today is a great day to be an American. It's November 5th. Get out and vote today. We are going to vote, and today we're voting for Dan Champagne in Rockville. Not because he's a Republican, because if he was a Democrat and he accomplished everything I have written down on this list, I'd be voting for him too. This is about making America great again, starting right here in our hometown of Rockville. This is the New England Motorcycle Museum, 150,000 square foot, largest motorcycle museum in New England. And this is a total metamorphosis. I want you to go on to Google Maps right now, punch in 200 West Main Street, and look at what this place looked like 5 years ago. I sat with Sean Gately, who happens to be a Democrat, the town planner, town administrator, in his office, and he said 5 years from now, you're not going to recognize Rockville. Take a ride with me. I'm going to show you what we've accomplished in a short amount of time with the right leaders in charge. What do you think, guys?
Let's do it.
Rockville's on the move.
Spot on.
On the move. And Moses, give us a quick prayer. 10 seconds.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for such a day like this, Lord. It's a day that, Lord, you have created, and we will rejoice in it and give honor. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Thank you, brother. Moses is our resident pastor here. And I want to show you something. $7.3 million invested in resurrecting the world's largest motorcycle museum, 65,000 square foot, actually second largest, I think, but certainly the largest in New England. Look at this. Look at this. This is a brand new road right here, folks. A brand new road. One of the accomplishments done by the current administration. Look at this. You could sleep. You could almost eat off this road. It's so clean. It's beautiful. It used to be a pot-filled, abandoned disaster. This was the epicenter of decay of Rockville. This is a poster child on how to resurrect a town or a city. This is a gateway into the city of Rockville, West Main Street. And look over here, a brand new bridge. That's a $2 million bridge. And look all the way down there. Can you see that down there? Another brand new bridge. And if you look over here, you'll see another brand new bridge. So let's get out of the road so we don't get run over. The infrastructure of the city has undergone a total metamorphosis. I'm going to take you on a ride through town and show you what Mayor Dan, who's now a senator, he's a state senator, show you what he's accomplished in short order. Let's go for a ride. The net tax assessment went up over $68 million, bringing in $2.7 million in new revenue to the town. When the current construction is finished, the net assessment will increase over $33 million. That's a lot of money to the bottom line for the town. Vernon also has the highest bond rating it can achieve. That means that they're doing what they say they're going to do, and that's what Dan Champagne's all about. So stay tuned. The mayor's office has applied for and received over $46 million in state and federal monies for different projects. I'm going to take you around town and show you what we've accomplished with that $46 million. And this doesn't include increased funding for the schools. And guess what? Listen to this. No new tax increases this year. Can you imagine that? All this money is being spent in the town and no new tax increases. Just amazing, isn't it, Mark?
Dan Champagne, it's actually, Dan runs the city, the town of Vernon. It's more or less, it's a team approach.
Yeah, but there's guys behind the scenes, like our town manager, Mike Picaro, has done a phenomenal job getting the Democrats and the Republicans on a town council and all the people in control of the town to work together. We've had unanimous town council votes, pretty much the highest rating of unanimous votings of any town council ever, and it's half Democratic, half Republican. This city is a city that is showing how when both teams pull together, a bipartisan team pulls together, what great things can be accomplished.
Stuff gets done. Look what this town, I grew up here, and everyone who's watching out here who grew up around Rockville, you definitely, it's in the right direction, finally. We're finally moving. Let's keep progress going. Vote Dan and his team.
95% of the votes in town council have been unanimous with bipartisan support. That's huge. Okay, the mayor is working with the superintendent in agreement with the town council and the Board of Education have created a shared services committee in an effort to combine services between the town and the Board of Education to save taxpayers money. That's how you do things with no new taxes. Let's take a tour through town and see what we've done. We're in the truck. This is one of the brand new bridges. That's a huge infrastructure improvement. Look at River Street, brand new road. Let's take a ride up Morrison Street. What do you see? A brand new road. And guess what? When you take an abandoned mill town and you restore a factory, guess what? People buy houses like this one right here. This was a total eyesore. It sold for $32,000 a few years ago. Now it's worth $232,000. Why did this happen? Because Mayor Dan and his team are kicking butt, getting businessmen like me to come into the town and spend $7.3 million rebuilding the factory. And when you do that, guess what happens? People invest in the town and rebuild houses like this. And look at the road. It's got a brand new roadway. The home looks brand new. Heck, it hasn't looked this good in 200 years. So we're going to take a ride up the road here Mayor Dan didn't forget about the finer things in life either, because the rail trail, which is one of the best resources we have here in the town, has been expanded. Let's go take a little walk. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here we are on the rail trail where people can take their families for walks, and you feel you're no longer in the city of Rockville. You feel like you're in the woods. Mayor Dan and his administration have spent a lot of money improving this asset here, which brings people from all over Connecticut to this rail trail. It's phenomenal. You can ride your bicycle for 20 miles on the rail trail, and they're in the process of connecting it with the center of town. And a massive investment in parks and trail expansions, new exercise park at Dart Hill Park, disc golf at the Vernon Center Middle School, trail expansions on the Hockanum River, which we're on right now, and the trail expansion in downtown Rockville, complete with 2 grants applied for and received by the mayor's office, on including 19 Grove Street cleaned up and being turned into a park, added handicapped fishing at both Walker's Reservoir and Valley Falls, and the new dam and parking lot at Valley Falls Park. New parking lot and expanded parking at Legion Field, and a redesigned overlook at Henry Park, and more. So we're not just investing in roads and bridges. We're making this place a great place to raise your family. Wouldn't you agree, Moses?
I agree to all that you said. And Mayor Dan has done great things for this town. Without him, I tell you, this town of Rockville of Vernon is in shambles.
Mayor Dan has also had new and expanded parking lots at the Skinner Road School, the Maple Street School, Vernon Center Middle School, and the Center Road School. Brand new roofs at the Vernon Center Middle School for the kids, at the Skinner Road School, and a new roof on the Maple Street School, the Northeast School, and parts of Rockville High School. So he's taking care of the schools for the kids, and guess what? He also built a brand new senior citizen for the senior citizens. So the entire quality of life here has had a complete metamorphosis. There's no graffiti. Mayor Dan approved our Rockville Volunteer Community Services group, where he had his police escorts come out with us into the worst parts of the city and let us take down graffiti on private properties that were owned by slumlords or people who didn't take care of it. There's no more graffiti in town. There's no more abandoned cars in town, and there's no more blighted properties. Mayor Dan also put fine structures in place where he had an officer empowered to fine private property owners for having graffiti on their property and for having them look like blighted properties. In fact, I'm going to show you one right next door that, if you've been following us, I've done videos about this property right next door to the mill, where he fined the guy over $4,000 and forced him to clean up the mess that his property had become. That's the kind of leadership we need to make America great again, to make Rockville great again. We're starting right here. Economic development continues to be a major priority for the town of Vernon. The mayor has worked closely with the economic development coordinator and the town planner, Sean Gately, and they are bringing new businesses into the town left and right. All of this roadway work has gotten done. All of the improvements I'm talking about have been done mainly with grants, federal grants, state grants, EPA grants. In fact, the blighted property at 19 Grove, the abandoned factory, 10 buildings were dismantled with an EPA grant. That takes a lot of work. Mayor Dan is now a senator. Having a mayor that is a senator adds a lot of power and a lot of clout to what he says when he goes to the state and asking for help. He can walk right into one of the state offices as a senator, and it brings a lot of clout and a lot of power to the town of Vernon and Rockville. So hopefully he'll stay in command as our mayor, our chief executive officer, for as long as possible. When push came to shove on our own project right here, and I'm going to show you 2 other projects that had stalled. Our project had stalled. We needed some help, and the mayor brought our project to the table with the state and put it back on track, and the work was finally completed with a grant that he had gotten us, a $500,000 grant to finish this building. Without that, it wouldn't have gotten done. So, and I'm going to show you another project even larger than this one that was completely off the table, not even started, and Mayor Dan got a $2 million EPA grant and got it completely cleaned up. So when you're doing a drive-by, the Google drive-by, take a look at the new fences, all the landscaping that's been done. The Bixby house has been renovated. This house right here, this is one of the houses that was on the blighted list right here. This was completely overgrown, and Mayor Dan had this is right next door to the mill. He had started finding the guy, and this is a beautiful mansion that is owned by a gentleman who didn't see the benefit of mowing your lawn. The grass was 6 feet tall. It was totally overgrown. Mayor Dan fined him and got it cleaned up. So That's the kind of leadership you need, someone who's willing to step up to the plate. And as we drive down West Main here, you're going to see a brand new roadway. This is part of the road improvements. Over $150 million whoops, sorry about that. Over $150 million has been invested in Rockville since Mayor Dan has taken the helm as our leader. The team he has with Mike Baccaro and Sean Gately, the building officials, the zoning officers he's put into place, and the chief, Kenny, at the police department, which is Dan's alumni. Our mayor was a police officer for 20 years. He knows Chief Kenny quite well. They work great together, and they've also solved the problem of drug dealers in town. That's an ongoing thing, but the police department's done a phenomenal job. Chief Kenny and his team have kicked butt on the drug dealers in town and have pretty much cleaned up the whole panhandler problem we had in town, the homeless problems we had in town, the little tent cities that have popped up. Somehow they got those people into shelters and cleaned up the streets, got the graffiti taken down through our team, and have just done a phenomenal job policing the area, so you feel safe here. I mean, Kenny moved to Rockville and is planning on raising his family here. I've been here since 1974, and I feel safer because the police department's done a fantastic job cleaning up the crime, and if there's a problem, they're on the scene in mere seconds, and they don't mess around. So that's a big part of the success of a town, is having a police department that is on point. And our mayor has a master's degree in he's highly educated. He has a master's degree. What's his degree in? Is it public service or something like that?
Yes.
I forget, he told me. But anyway, he's highly educated, 20 years as a police officer, and now he's a senator and the mayor. So I'm going to show you another project that he got done with grants. This is the mayor's office right here. You got to see this. The mayor's office is like the mayor of Gotham City's office. It's absolutely beautiful. There was a $2 million grant that completely renovated the 1880 mayor's office. Kenny's got some aerial footage of that, and also the watch yourself. $1 million grant was obtained from the state to redo the facade in front of the buildings here that the mayor's office and town council chambers are attached to. There's so much that's been accomplished. I don't think I can get it all into this tape. And you know, although the mayor is the lead guy, it's like having a great coach. You got to have a good team behind the coach, and he does. He's got a kick-butt team assembled, and they're on the gas. That's the mayor's office right there. He's on the second floor. It's a phenomenal brownstone 1880, circa 1880 building, town hall, in the mayor's office. And then 26 Park Place, he's also trying to turn this into a theater, the Park Place. And this building right here, $1 million grant to restore this building. And if you look closely, you're not going to believe this, but here's proof in the pudding. The road preservation bond is coming to completion, with over 90% of the town-owned roads have been completely rebuilt. Construction is going on in a way like you won't see anywhere else in the country. There are major cost savings. The Vernon invested in a solar farm and continues to save 15% on electricity. The streetlight conversion will be paid off this year, resulting in a permanent savings of over $200,000 a year. Our fiber network continues to save the town of Vernon on our internet, phone, and network charges, and Vernon continues to save money on non-medical insurance and does so well with risk management that we received an award with significant cost savings and a refund check of $30,000 for medical insurance, which is negotiated down to a 1% reduction in costs. Another cost savings measure: employees are no longer receiving paper paychecks, but receive everything electronically. To revitalize Rockville, for example, the town has tapped many state and federal resources for environmental cleanup. I'll show you a $2 million cleanup up the road. Demolition and or restoration of dilapidated properties, including the former Roosevelt Mill and 3 other mills. The town is constantly in touch with potential developers like myself and bringing economic vitality back to Rockville by working together with the state. That's how it pays to have a senator be your mayor, because he's getting it done. So, over here, 3, 2, 1. Dan also approved my group, Rockville Volunteer Services, to clean up our environment. Rockville enjoys vibrant community engagement from individual citizens like myself and families to churches. The cumulative value of donated time, talent, and treasure is enormous. We did over 2,000 hours of volunteer service. Millions of dollars of work was done each year by volunteers. Community spirit is high. We're making Rockville great again between the Rockville Downtown Association, the Rockville Community Alliance, and my group, the Rockville Volunteer Services. The Amberbell Daniels Mill Project, if you look at this building, see that chimney over there? We'll get a close-up of it. There's been a $2 million grant from the state and federal government to clean that property up also. Video with the Urban Trails Walk, we actually took you to the trail. Those trails were renovated and improved under Mayor Dan's jurisdiction, and we also have a stunning transformation and resurrection of the former Roosevelt Mill into Loom City Lofts. I'll bring you there next. The Connecticut Water Company is investing $30 million to upgrade their facility there. Lots of money coming into the little city of Rockville. People from all over the world are coming here to see our progress, so stay tuned, it gets better. The crumbling foundation crisis has also hit the town of Vernon hard. The mayor of Vernon is working really hard to get those people with affected houses help. The mayor has applied for and received small cities grant funding of a regional crumbling concrete group. So we're getting people the help they need. They have a consultant on staff to help and social services on board also. This here is the Amberbell Mill, which has been abandoned since 1954. It needs a complete renovation. Mayor Dan got a $4 million grant and demolished a 80,000 square foot building here and cleaned up a lot of the environmental waste on this site. And right across the street, 19 Grove, on the other side of that pond there were 10 abandoned factory buildings. Mayor Dan got a $2 million EPA grant to get that cleaned up also. So that's how you get things done without raising the local taxes, getting the support, the programs that are available. It's a lot of work. This is a mayor that worked overtime, round the clock, and got his team to rise to the occasion. Guys, right here, 175 East Main Street on the left, that is where the first Kaplan cycle shop was, in a one-car garage behind here 30 years ago. And we've come a long ways, and so hasn't the town. When I was living down here and had my shop down here, this was a crumbling street, and this was an abandoned factory. This is called Loom City Lofts. Junior can splice in some footage of what it was like before. It was the biggest eyesore in the town. The mayor, this project had ground to a halt. The gentleman who was the developer had hit nothing but roadblocks all over the place, and Mayor Dan and his team pulled a bunch of strings and got him the funding and the teamwork and the cooperation of the town. That's why I'm here. This type of proactive leadership is very encouraging if you have a business. This abandoned, dilapidated disaster is now the pride of the town. Built in 1906, rehabilitated in 2016 under Mayor Dan's jurisdiction. Loom City Lofts is now something the whole town can be proud of. There's a waiting list to get in here. It's fully occupied. It's a $21 million resurrection of a former forgotten sweater factory that had been crumbling into the ground. Now look at the parking lot. Look at the Junior's got we did a flyover here with his drone of this chimney right here, and it was completely crumbling. It's been totally restored. This place is a crown jewel, and when the grand opening happened, he got the governor, Malloy, to come here and do a speech. So our Democratic governor, so Republican, again, a Republican mayor, a Republican senator working closely with the Democrats, getting everybody to pull together. That's the kind of leadership we need. You'll never hear Mayor Dan tearing down the Democrats. He's building up the country. That's what the country needs. That's the leadership we need. We need both sides working together. I've talked about it before. It's happening right here in Rockville, and it's very encouraging. Let's head to the polls now and vote for the guy who deserves to continue to be mayor of this awesome town. And that's not to say that the one he's running against, Claire Janowski, wouldn't be an awesome mayor. She's, I'm sure she would be an asset to the town. Her heart's in the right place, but we've got a lot of momentum here with the mayor and all the pull of him being a senator, all the connections he has. He's in the same building as the governor, you know, half the time. The other half of the time he's here in Rockville. So talk about a perfect storm to help us rebuild this forgotten Milltown community. Guys, we just got word from Mark Vesco, one of Mayor Dan's campaign managers, that he is at Skinner Road School. We're going to go meet the mayor himself and have him put in a good word. So stay tuned. So many great things. We're on the way to talk to Mayor Dan himself right now, but things on the radar right now he's working on. He's finishing Citizens Block, the building right next door to the mayor's office, opening a new youth center in the downtown Rockville abandoned buildings, repointing and updating the chapel at Grove Hill Cemetery. He's also finishing the park at 19 Grove Street, which was 10 abandoned factory buildings that he leveled with EPA money. He's also working on the sports field for our youth and continuing to upgrade Vernon's infrastructure. He's also continuing the building updates, the repairing of the sidewalks. We have new sidewalks right in front of Kenny's house in a new street, thanks to Mayor Dan and his team. He's replacing aging parking lots and finishing those roads not included in the road bond. He's also building a dog park in an abandoned lot and continuing to look for ways to save money. Here's a guy who's working for everybody. He's for the pet owners, for the senior citizens, for the Democrats and Republicans. He's making the town a better place to live for our youth with the rails trails, with the youth center. It's a exciting thing to be a part. I've been here since '74, and let me tell you, things got pretty scary in the late '70s and '80s. There was a lot of gang presence in the town. Inner city gangs had taken over. There was a lot of drug trafficking going on in the city. Mayor Dan spent 20 years on the street, and now as mayor is when he was a police officer, policing these towns. So he knew what the problems were, and he didn't waste any time putting a dedicated community officer, a CPO, an officer who worked just the downtown beat 24/7. He had an officer there, and if you were doing something inappropriate, you're getting busted straight up, because I've seen them do it. They've busted a lot of heroin dealers and just totally cleaned up the whole town. So let's hear from Mayor Dan himself in a moment. Stay tuned. Guys, I'm really excited. This is the man himself, Mayor Dan Champagne. How are you, sir?
Good. How you doing, Ken?
As I said earlier, I told you a lot about the guy. He's also been he's also a senator for the state now. And tell us a little bit about, you were actually an officer at one of the schools, weren't you?
Actually, I did all the elementary schools in town, and I also did VCMS for a while. Police officer inside, Officer Friendly, Officer Dan.
So his nickname was Officer Friendly. And Moses, come on over here.
Thanks to Mayor Dan, this is a great place to raise a family.
Amen.
Because you are secured, and I promise you, with Mayor Dan, you are secured in Vernon.
Thank you. Cody, come here. This guy moved from upstate New York. Guys, you hear about people moving out of the state of Connecticut. 62 people a day on average are moving out. Well, we have a different trend here. There is a truck coming from California right now with the Greer family. They're moving to Vernon to be a part of the growth of this awesome city. They're watching this on YouTube. And here's a guy right here, Cody Suggs, who just moved from upstate New York with his fiance to be a part of the revolution, the evolution of Rockville, and Rockville becoming great again. Tell us a little bit about why you came here.
Well, I saw you guys first, came on the team, and it's been great. But to see the changes the town makes and the progress that's going on here, it's just great to be a part of it. It seems like I can put some roots down here, and it's going to be worth it. It's a great place to kind of, like he said, raise a family. I don't know if I'm ready yet, but we're on our way, guys.
And you moved into one of the restored mills, right?
I did, just across the street from the mill. And, honestly, it's probably my favorite apartment I've ever had. Dog park's great, everything. People around here are just nice, man. It's a great place to be.
Mayor Dan's building another dog park in town. He's working on that.
I heard. I'm actually pretty excited about that, to be honest with you. I'm sure Django is too.
And what improvements in the short time you've been here? What happened to West Main Street?
Oh my God, man! The roads out there are perfect. Taking the Harley out every morning, it's just nice. You don't got to worry about potholes. The bike ride's nice and smooth. You're good to go.
So all you guys who've been watching our videos and complaining about the roads, thanks to this guy, I think 90% of them have been replaced, and we have a new West Main Street. So thank you, Mayor Dan. I think it's no secret who I'll be voting for today.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you, sir.
What's up, guys? Ken Jr. right here. Dan, thank you for everything. I moved to Vernon 2 years ago, and my family owns a substantial amount of property here in Vernon, and I'm looking to buy more. So it's been phenomenal to see the progress, the new roadways, and all the improvements in town and the support of our projects. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Mark, would you like to add? Mark Vesco has been on Dan's team for a long time, so go ahead.
Yeah, as no surprise, Dan and I went to school together. This is one of the guys that I always looked up to in school. Dan is not a politician. Dan does the right thing, says what he's going to do and does it. And he doesn't care if you have an R next to your name, a D next to your name. He just does the right thing, and that's what we need, and that's why Rockville and Vernon is doing so well.
This young lady to my left here, Polly Schaefer, has been on town council for how many terms?
18 years.
18 years. This is a woman who every Wednesday night came out with her husband and was the hardest working team members. And I will be pulling the Polly Schaefer lever, and she's getting my vote today. I promise you that. She's a Democrat. Dan's a Republican. We talked about the bipartisan group working together. Town council, 95% of the votes have been the same. Dan is a leader that gets everybody to work together. Polly is the type of outstanding American patriot. Her husband, how old is your husband, if you don't mind me asking?
73.
73 years old. You know what he does? He maintains the town baseball fields for free.
He retired from that.
Oh, he
this
did?
year.
For how
Had to
many
give
years
up
did
something.
how many years did he do it for?
37.
37 years. These are
Coach.
patriots that love their town, and they came out with us every Wednesday night into the worst parts of the city and took graffiti down for 2 years every Wednesday night, and they bought pizzas for us, and that's why, you know, hey, if you're going to be a patriot and American, it's not about voting Republican or voting Democrat. It's about voting for the people who are making it happen in our town, like Tom Didio on town council also. Tom's another guy who runs our July in the Sky. And how long have you been on town council?
I've only been on for 4 years, but you know, the best part about it is that we get to do things for the town. July in the Sky downtown is a great community event. Our national night out brings people together, and that really makes the fiber of the commercial vibrant. And we really enjoy being part of this town. And yes, there is a bipartisan feeling. When we want to get things done, we will all move and move together, and they can't ask for better. It's really small town America, as it should be.
Like the town saying, Rockville's on the move. Tom just summarized how that's happening by everybody working together with outstanding citizens stepping up and taking office and leading us to success. So stay tuned. This is going to be a success story heard around the world. Mark my words. We have visitors from all over the world coming to the museum and visiting Rockville, and it's this type of leadership that cares, that's making it a place that you want to come see, and making families like Moses's family want to move here, and Cody's family want to move here, and the Greer family, which is in a truck on their way here right now. They'll be happy they came. God bless America. Guys, having a leader like Mayor Dan, who's also Senator Dan Champagne, who has a master's degree in public administration and 20 years on the police force, this is a guy who earned his reputation, who pulled himself up by the bootstraps, who came from the city of Rockville. He didn't live in the wealthy sections of the state. He came up blue collar, highly educated man who cares about our city, and because of his background as a police officer, he knows the value of heavily policing the city. He put was it a CPO, community police officer?
Community police officer. Yes.
We've had a community police officer in Rockville since he took the helm, and crime has gone way down. They've done a phenomenal job busting all the drug dealers and getting the drug trade out of our little city, and also helped me with the motorcycle theft ring that robbed the museum. Mayor Dan and the Chief Kenny, Sergeant Todd Thiel, Officer Kerry Reynolds, just your police force is phenomenal. I would say second to none in Connecticut. Is there anything you'd like to add about the police force?
Well, I agree. We have one of the best police forces, and every day they just prove themselves over and over again.
So thank you for helping us protect Rockville and making it a safe place. Like Moses said, it's a safe place to raise your family. And when there's a problem, the police department's there in New York second. And I know you're investing in new fire trucks, in infrastructure, in computer systems, and roadways. So a place where I'm proud to have my son lay down his roots and look for a bright future here in the city. So stay tuned. There's more great to come here in Rockville. And again, God bless America.